100 players who shook the clock. Shook the clock.
Rush getting it back to Dalglish, and there goes Rush again. Oh, good try. And a goal. Oh, yes.
Little ball forward for Rush, trying to get the turn. It could still fall for him. Oh, it did.
Ian Rush. Where do you start with Rushy?
Rushy, just a terribly bad habit of scoring goals.
Goal-wise, an absolute goal machine.
Brilliant, favourite. I just think he was the best.
And it was Whelan looking to feed off, and then Rush!
Rushy's record is there to be seen.
I think that says it all. I mean, the club's record goal scorer.
Hundreds upon hundreds of goals, and you know, so many of them crucial goals. So many absolute gems.
I wouldn't have liked to play against Ian, I must admit.
And Rush!
When he first came to the club, he was this funny, gangly, quiet guy who never said boo to a goose and didn't score goals. Paisley took him to one side, and apparently he said something along the lines of, be more selfish, score some goals, or you're out. Well, if he really did say that to Ian, that has got to be the all-time greatest team talk ever in the history of this club, because we all know what he went on to do after that.
It's swung in towards Rush, and a very good ball too. Oh, that's superb finishing by Ian Rush, and that's goal number 29.
Once he got a breakthrough, though it took him a little bit of a time to break his duck, once he got off and running, there was never any stopping Rushy.
Knew straight away he was a cracking player.
Incredible, total instinctive ability to put the ball in the back of the net. It's just unbelievable.
Rush is hovering inside the area, and he's there. And Ian Rush! Oh, and on for Rush, what a perfect through ball! And what a brilliant goal!
It was never usually anything spectacular, but it was just the way he made, he opened the door for the ball to go inside. I'm here. And you know, deflections, he'd be there, he read everything brilliantly.
He had tremendous pace, you know, off the mark. You know, he could be by you, be 5 yards by you before you can get going.
Yeah, I don't think he really tried to do too much outside of the box. It was all about what he did in terms of finishing. Never really created many chances for people, but was always able to put the end to a move in classic style.
But more than anything, his work ethic for the team. For such a superstar, you don't really find that often today. A goal scorer thinks he hasn't got to run back and work. And Rushy was always our first line of defence, and a lot of people forget that.
Glanced out by Marsh. Rush now. If McMahon can run half the length of the pitch here, Liverpool are in again. He settles for help. He's got it from Rush. And Dibble this time cannot keep him at bay.
Hardly ever offside, you know, compared to other strikers like that. He was so on it, you know. Obviously, he had Kenny Dalglish to help, and it was just him. You know, it was, even though Kenny scores, it was just the amount of goals he got. He was brilliant, and he was hardly ever injured.
I mean, when you think of them team, you always think of Rush and Dalglish, you know, the early 80s team. And I mean, if we've got strikers at the moment as good as them, I think we've walked the league.
Now from Dalglish. Rush had anticipated it, and how he made it pay! That was a superb goal.
Great sense of awareness, great movement, great pace, and great composure when he got in front of goal.
Always looks capable of setting something up for Liverpool. Craig Johnston's cross. Rush! Yes!
Was that sick at Villa that night when he scored in at that icy night?
And here's Ian Rush. Another chance for him. Williams couldn't get to him. And that's 1-1. And Nicholl is the man coming in for the header. And Rush was on the far side. Oh, what a tremendous shot. Here's Steve Nicholl. Oh, and he's hovering again. There is Rush. Well, I say, the man just can't be stopped. It's a hat-trick.
I've got a weird favourite, funnily enough, because there was a journalist come up. He was doing a thing for the Mail on Sunday, of all papers, about the way Liverpool lads were dressing at the match. And he'd come up, and the journalist, it was Robert Elms, you know, he was a QPR fan. And it was around about the September of 1983. So Rushy, you know, he'd been in the team a while by then. And it started, you know, becoming the prolific marksman that we all know and love. But this Robert Elms was saying, oh yeah, but he's just a tapping merchant, isn't he? You know, he never scores spectacular goals. We were playing Luton Town at home, and I think the final score was about 6-0 or something, but Rushy's first was just an unbelievable 30-yard volume. It was from outside the box, and he just lashed it into the roof of the net. We were stood on the cop. I just turned to Elms and went, nice tapping that, mate.
Comes to Rush!
And how he terrorised Everton.
And then obviously, you know, there are so many great memories, and you know, you couldn't let the four at Goodison Park go unmentioned.
Rush to his left, onside, Ian Rush, 1-0 Liverpool, brilliant goal. Rush, deflection, has taken it in. Dalglish, look at that, Rush is through. This could be history here for Ian Rush if he scores. He's at the post, he might score now, he has. And this is where Liverpool have made the game look so easy. They've come out of defence, got into their stride, and seem to get an extra man through. It's Ian Rush, can he score his fourth? It looks as though he has, yes! 5-0.
I think that was really when he sort of embedded himself into our conscious, you know. Not only did we absolutely play them off the park, but he scored 4, you know, and I think everybody just loved the man. If he'd never scored another one after that, you know, what a hero.
The goals against Everton in the cup final, it's a lot of goals against Everton.
They've picking the pace up now, Liverpool. Now Mulby. Now Rush. Yes! 1-1. Dalglish is making a run for him. One player's gone tumbling, and it's played across for Rush. That's another one!
Every time there was a derby, I remember I was standing in the Gladys Street one time, and the Evertonians were like, oh, Rush's got the ball, oh, Rush's got the ball. And I'm like, go on, Rushy, go on. And he's always never let you down, put it in the net. I mean, they were so glad to see the back of him.
Because when he went, I was gutted, you know, it was like, you can't do that. Not anyone else, but not him. And then when he came back and he hadn't learned a word of Italian, I was made up.
Deep down, everybody knew that because of the way Rushy is, he's a sort of family man and, you know, likes his own friends or something, that he wouldn't really settle in Italy. And I think it proved right, because he was only away a season and then come back.
Because I think I was on holiday when I was in Menorca or somewhere in the summer, and we got the papers and said Rush is going back to Liverpool, and it was like, couldn't wait to get home. No.
I was made up when he come back. I remember just a slight headline on the teletext coming in one day and slicking the text on and saying Rushy back at Anfield, and I thought he was coming back for a testimonial or something, because the headlines were that sort of small. And they said, no, Ian Rush had signed for Liverpool, back for Liverpool for $3 million. Everybody was made up. I remember the t-shirts, Nightmare on Gladys Street is back or something. You know, they were selling the t-shirts outside the ground, and, you know, he came back to haunt them again.
Oh, there's Rush in there. Rush! Goal! Ian Rush! Liverpool back in front. Barnes. Rush! Goal! 3-2 Liverpool. Ian Rush gets his second.
A whippet, and one of the best muzzies in footy.
What I like about Ian Rush is that bizarre combination of this funny, spindly little guy with a tash.
He had one of them tashes, you know, like them dirty top lips. It wasn't like a moustache, it was like he'd been eating licorice all day in Chester.
To be honest with you, if you didn't know any different, you'd think, well, you know, he's not going to be a threat, is he? At the end of the 90 minutes, how many teams walked away just thinking, again?
Space is opening up all the time for Liverpool. Dean Saunders goes again. Michael Thomas, Ian Rush! It's the perfect Liverpool FA Cup final goal from one of their all-time greats.
Ian Rush, maybe your all-round complete centre forward, because the man had run, defend, he was pacey, he was athletic, he could put the ball in the net.
Wilkins goes across to try and perhaps get a tackle in, but Nicol to Barnes, back to Nicol, and now Rush. Oh, and Seaman was beaten by the power of it. Ian Rush.
I'd give him a chance in the 18-yard box. He would take it. and I'll put him high in my list as goal scorer, I must admit.
Rush let it run for Beardsley. On again. Ian Rush! Oh, the
I mean, the amount of goals that lad scored, and he was just a legend, really is, where the goal scorers go.
To Jan Mulvey, to John Barnes. A little thick and a good one. For Rush! Has scored! Ronnie Rosenthal. Redknapp for the cutback. Rush! A moment of history for Ian Rush. This genuinely great goal scorer now leads the Liverpool list.
Well, it's incredible, really. I think to come in the top 10 is a great achievement, but to be third, it's something, you know, it's a great feeling. And for me, it's the supporters have always been good to me. Even when I played, they sing my name, and you try to repay them by scoring goals. But when you finish playing football, you just move on, because Liverpool Football Club's the biggest thing now, and there's different players, quality players come through as well. So to be voted number 3 with that many amount of supporters is an incredible feeling for me.
When you look back on your Liverpool career, why do you think you had such a special rapport with the fans?
I think obviously scoring goals that come into it, but I think I always thought to myself, no, I worked hard when I didn't have the ball, and I think I was brought up for Liverpool that way. Even though I scored goals, my job was to try and defend from the front. And I think the supporters here, if you give 100%, that's all they ask for you, and they don't ask for anything else. As long as you go on that pitch, give 100%. And I felt I gave 100% when I played, and so I was lucky enough to have played with great players as well, and I think that helped me. But for me, it's just scoring goals. I think I tried to repay him by scoring goals.
Obviously, you shook the cup on many occasions and for many different reasons, but the main one being scoring goals, as you say. What was it like to score a goal in front of that cup?
It was incredible. It went from, I think the very first goal I scored for Liverpool was in the cup area, in the European Cup tie. I think I'd come on a sub, and I think we were playing the Finnish team, and I just managed to tap one in for about 2 yards. And I went on to score quite a lot of them, and it was an incredible feeling. When you actually scored, the adrenaline was flowing, and my job was I want to get back and score again, because I think when you see the delight in the supporters when you score a goal, you see the faces and the delight, I think it gives you a great feeling. But for me, my job was to score goals, and when I scored one, I wanted to score 2, and when I scored 2, I wanted to score 3, simply because the supporters were fantastic.
So when you look back over your Liverpool career, what would you pick out as the highlight? I
think really, for me, most probably, I don't have the best goals because I remember them all, but for me it's a game, and it's Everton in 1986 FA Cup final, because for me it's like everything rolled into one, where it was my first FA Cup final, and I dreamed of scoring the winning goal in the FA Cup final as a kid. I wasn't winning the league, I was dreaming of scoring the winning goal in the FA Cup final, and it was it's the year we'd done a double. We just won the league, and we're playing Everton. The first Merseyside derby to play at Wembley. And I think at the time then, Liverpool and Everton were most probably 1 and 2 best teams in Europe. And to be losing half-time, Gary Lineker scores a goal, to be losing there and coming in half-time and Ronnie Moran having a bit of a go at us, we went back out and we won 3-1, and I scored 2 goals. And it was one of them, I know for one thing, I didn't go to bed that night.
The 2 players that are left to be voted for, Steven Gerrard and Kenny Dalglish. In your opinion, who would get number 1 out of them 2?
Well, obviously for me it's got to be Kenny, because simple reason that I was lucky enough to play with Kenny, and he made a lot of my goals, and I had a good partnership with Kenny. And I think Kenny, because he's done it as a manager as well, I think playing wise, Gerrard is a fantastic player, and I think Steven Gerrard will get better. I think there's more to come from Stevie G.